So, Gareth, that was Kodesh, everybody. Welcome. It is Erev Shabbos, not really Erev Pesach, really, kind of Erev Pesach, but it's kind of a big day. Shabbos hagadol. Everyone I'm sure heard Drasha last week. I hope it's not again this week. Um, but today's a big day. Preparing for Shabbos, preparing for Pesach. Can't prepare for Pesach on Shabbos, so it's a little drama. There's a lot of drama going on today. Got a few minutes to kind of chill a little bit. So here we are. So first of all, we got to talk about what's the specialness. There's a special medrash as far as in Tzav. It's one of those underrated parshas. Again, we're kind of really every year we're kind of in the middle of Pesach somewhere. So Tzav is kind of under the radar. Karbanis is from last week. But we have an interesting parsha with this Taurus, Zos Taurus, La'ola, Kappas, Asham, Wulim, Zeb Hashlamin. This is Taurus hat, Taurus of the Karbanos. There's a medrash that brought down that Moshe says to the people, he's telling about Karbanos, and they start freaking out. They got really afraid. Moshe says, don't worry, learn Torah. I'll just show you. It's ask about Torah. Hey, not Kalela. You don't have to worry about the Karbanos if you learn Torah. And the question is, why do you wear that Karbanos anyway? If anything, Karbanos are great. Without Karbanos, your Averas pile up. Without Karbanos, with the sin, is punishment. Bonus is the great way to do tshuva. We said last week that a person does tshuva. Carbon is not just a carbon animal. There's tshuva involved. Marv Hashem says, it's not just person has to really have tshuva, or else the Kohen's not going to take your carbon. So, why are people afraid of karbanos and have to say, don't worry about karbanos? And anything they should be happy. Karbanos, they should be jumping up and down. So, I saw this fancy little pamphlet there in the Rahman Mazuz. Says the answer is because we look is a quote in the Rama in the Sefer Torah Sa'ola. It says that actually it's embarrassing to a carbon because a person brings a carbon and people know about it. Whether it's you do a carbon that's with your mind, Machshava, with an Ola, it stays learned all night. So people know that your carbon is an Ola, maybe bad roots for that carbon. And also chatas. The Kohanim have to eat part of this. So a person brings a chatas. Not so simple. People know about these things. The Kohanim splitting up the animal. They have to eat it. You don't get your tshuva unless the Kohanim eat the meat that they're supposed to eat. So the Kohanim are all sitting around there. You see you bring the carbon chatas, and now they're having all this meat. Now they're looking over their shoulder, and they see you in the background there, and they're like, boy, that guy did something really bad. He did something on Shabbos by mistake. He hit someone by mistake. He wore shotness by mistake. Whatever it is, he did something. He bring a chatas. That's embarrassing. And so Moshe is saying, I'll just show you. Don't worry. Learn Torah. So Torah Sola. Because the Torah, learning Torah will prevent you from these things. A, you'll know what halachas. You'll know what to do, what not to do. So you won't come to do an Avera. Or two, if you're more in tune with Torah, you won't do these things by mistake. What? Oh, I just flipped the light bulb by mistake. I put turn the light on Shabbos by mistake. Shabbos. Well, if you're really in tune, you learn Torah, and you're at a higher level, you're not going to come to make mistakes. So therefore, learn Torah, and you won't have a need for this. So don't worry. So the people who are nervous about Averos and Karbanos, because they'll be embarrassed. So therefore, you learn Torah, it won't come to this. So I think Tzav, it's also said Shabbos hagadol. And even though many people heard a drasha last week, it's actually Shabbos hagadol. This is actually Shabbos hagadol. We have the special Torah. And the question is, what's the specialness of Shabbos hagadol? The 10th day of Nisan, which was Shabbos, a couple thousand years ago, 3,000 years ago. They were told to bring the animal inside the house, and people did this, and the miracle is Mitzrayim didn't do anything. And the question is, there's a lot of other miracles that took place throughout the time of Tanakh, the time of the Beis Mikdash. What's so special about this? Um, a lot of other miracles took place. There's other miracles in Mitzrayim that took place. The Makos, Moshe was saved, was a miracle. Um, some Pharaoh, like a lot of miracles that took place. But this act of the taking in said was a big deal. What's special about this more than others? So Kedush Slavy has a very interesting idea with something called Katnus and Godless, Mochen the Katlas and Mochen the Godless, the small mind and big mind. And see these terms, I talk about this all the time. But what does it really mean? Someone's big mind, small mind. So he wants to say that someone who's small mind, he sees what's in front of him. Every little thing is a big deal. He can't really see too much ahead of himself. Something's happening outside, it bothers him or makes him happy. Something happening at his job, something with the family, all these things, every little thing is a big deal. Doesn't see the big, sees the small picture really. Um, as opposed to seeing the big picture. Someone who has mochen, the godless big picture, takes a step back, and says, you know what, this is only a step towards something. This is not that big a deal because the real job is X or the setback, the real battle is not won or lost yet. We're still going on. That's big mind. Someone at work, some people they freak out every little thing happens. Some people say, you know what, this is not that big a deal. This is something small. The client said this. He really needs this. Or we have other clients or other issues or bigger issues and things like that. That's big minded. This is the really turning point, Solutions Lady says. Taking the animal showed that the people now feared one thing. Before they take the animal, they feared Mitzrayim. Maybe they were scared of Moshe. I don't know. Maybe they were scared of Paro. Maybe they were scared of the guards, the neighbors, what's going to take place day to day after the Makos are going on, and what's going to happen to us. Once they were told to take in the set, it was a big turning point for them because now it showed they really only had one fear, is fearing what Hashem says, and they should do that. Every other thing went away. The neighbors, taskmasters, the officers, um, Paro, the parliament, whatever. That wasn't so important anymore. And that was a big turning point. When a person only fears Hashem, other things just go away. A couple of months ago, I was in New York, and they lost my luggage, or they misplaced it, and I had a chance to buy, clothing. So on the way back to Israel, I stopped in the Hugo Boss store, and was to buy something because I got the paper I was going to get reimbursed for from Delta, but I really couldn't bring myself to buy $100 sweatshirt or T-shirt or something. So I bought a pair of socks, $20, and I'm talking to this lady, black lady behind the counter, and it came up to jobs and travel or something. And she meant, I said, I'm from Israel. We're talking about war and this and that. And she mentioned that job. She goes, I don't care. I don't care about job, my boss. I care about God. That's what this woman said to me. She goes, I have one thing in life. I do what's right. I do what God says. I'm not really scared about what my boss says or doesn't say this and that. And I'm like, wow, that's Marv but I said, that's exactly right. That's big mind. That's big mind. And this is what the Jewish people went through. And this is why this nace isn't just a nace. This is a turning point for Jewish people. They went from small minds, seeing small things, to seeing the big picture. And this is something that really is a prelude, leads into Pesach. Without thinking this way, without thinking that small things are small, let me worry about Hashem is where I have to really be concerned about that leads us to Pesach. Without that, we're going to be stuck in ghosts. We're going to be stuck. There's no geula. Every little thing is going to take us off our path. We want to go to shear. I got to worry about my job, second job, tax, all these things. If I really can care what is the big picture, doing what Hashem wants, that's going to lead us to geula. And hopefully, difficult. You have the economy going on, the other things going on, unfortunately, anti-Semitism, we have Gaza still going on there. But these things are really to prelude to the Geula. If we let these things kind of get us depressed, get us angry, get us upset, that's really going to go against us because that shows that what Hashem's giving us is not really helping us, it's hurting us. And that's where we should think that anything you have in life, any illness in life, family, work, anti-Semitism, it's just to work on ourselves. Everything Hashem does is very good. And that's the lesson from Shabbos hagadol taking us. And hopefully we take this lesson from Shabbos hagadol that everything in our life, we look at the news, things are bad, but it's only really to kind of get us to focus on what's important. And if we do focus on what's important, hopefully we'll see the geula, the korov. Shabbat shalom, Chag Sameach.